everybody, my name is Alex. There are a lot of northern people, and these northern people very long ago are called absolutely Vikings. Vikings. They didn't usually call them Vikings themselves. They usually call them Northmen, or they speak the language Old Norse. There are a lot of familiar words like that come even from English. For example, like Thursday or Sunday, which means that wash day inside the Viking. And later on, I will tell you all about the Vikings and all about the information. Now let's begin with the topic of the Vikings. How it started? Well, today. And as usual, it started with the Lindis frame of the monks. There is a monk on side Norway, Finland, Sweden, and Denmark. They come from Iceland too. Soon they traveled and traveled. There's so much jewelries, and they live a very, very happy life until the Vikings came. The Vikings are from Denmark and other places from Iceland. They decided to go to look for a better place. They only think of one thing, just one thing. One thing that's killing people. They don't even matter about what in the world they should do next. They just kill and kill and kill and kill. Kill more, like that. And so as they won many battles and these legendary deaths of the famous people of Vikings. And there is a very, very long battle that lasted for years, centuries. After that, all of the people decided to, the monks surrendered and then they all died. The Vikings took the most precious jewelries they could find. They took toilets, baths, they took monks, even they took them into slavery, and that was unfair. And the monks had to give up. And soon their city was in entire ruins. After the monks have ridden the Lindis frame, they have very, very little aspect until the Vikings come, kill them all. Hey, what's up, bro? They're like, hey, I'll kill you, and then stab, die. And that's not all, because then they invaded others, like London, like Paris, like other cities too. Much of London and other cities in the UK are destroyed. The Thames River was blocked, and the Paris have a lot of casualties. And soon they invaded Ireland and Iceland, which haven't developed much. And soon after that, they decided to go on an adventure to kill all the people. Vikings are not just, not friendly to people. They don't just kill, but they do not rely much on that. But they still rely on religious. They have many religions. They have so many religions, gods, and myths, that they even have a lot of myths from Valhalla. Maybe they could tell some funny, few of them are funny, but most myths are very scary and spooky. For example, one time there is always in the gods' heavens of Valhalla, inside there is Asgard, and that kingdom which the people usually killed and killed a boar and killed everyone. And they reappear the same boar again. That's very, very, very confusing. Like I mean that Vikings are just also rely on religious myths. They have a lot of other and Oscar, and they have a lot of famous people. Like they have Thor, which is the most common one, and a mischievous Loki. There is also Fridge, and they also believe in afterlives too, after they have died from battle, mostly from battle, and there maybe for a legendary myth for Vikings. Now let's not care a lot about that. Let's talk about some famous Vikings. One legendary Viking is Hastin. Hastin is a Viking who is quite want to discover more. And one time he cannot go out on the wall to get the people to fight with, and soon he caught out the other people that he died, and then he had to go to the grave, and then he jumped up and then led the people into the way on the wall. That was mischievous, right? Another Viking was Rakar. Rakar means hairy bleaches in Old Norse language. And well, they have very he is very hairy and always wears animal furs and on his pants. And he one time he was captured by a North Columbia king, and the North Columbia king, he survived, but the North Columbia king still captured him and then led him into a pit where some say that they led him into a pit full of poisonous snakes. And then that was the end of Rakar and his hairy pants. But soon, his son, including Ivar the Boneless, took revenge and then shot the king of North Columbia. And that was the end of the king of North Columbia. And that's not all of the famous Vikings. There are also two more Vikings to go. Eric the Red and Leif Erikson. After a very, very long journey, after they have lived in Iceland, they were transported to another island. Eric the Red was known for his bushy red beard. He was living with Leif Erikson in an island named Iceland. One time he killed one person, and he was transported to one unknown island that we know today. To make it sound pleasant and people want to live there more, he called it Greenland. And soon, the island Greenland is so popular today, with an island population about 66,000, or I could be less or I could be more, 66,000 people. That is way to go. The Greenland population is a little bit small, but soon after that, when people lived there, Leif decided to bring him to there is an island, which sometime could be, maybe it could be Newfoundland, Canada, or it could be Maine, the US. I'm not sure about that, where he landed, but some people say it is from Newfoundland, Canada. And the fact that Eric and Leif Erikson had gone to America the first single time. That story was quite unknown for today, but we all know that they are the first Vikings to enter America. After that, after the Vikings have took revenge and have got there, they landed 500 years before Christopher Columbus had discovered America. That was a true story. I mean, when I say true story, I mean that's a true story. You could go and check out some videos to see how they lived. And the Vikings, let's turn back to the Vikings. The Vikings, well, let's tell about their tools and weapons. The Vikings have a shield. And they also have a sword too. A sword that looks like an axe, but an axe that is longer. They're not like wooden axes for Vikings. They're like axes. They're super good for battling. They think that the most important tool is the axe. And pictures of the Vikings wearing horned helmets are wrong. They never wear horned helmets. There are no Vikings pictured as wearing horned heads. And that is a wrong illustration when you get that picture of a Viking with a horned head. That is truly, certainly wrong. It is quite dressing up like a warrior, almost a bit. They sometimes wear normal clothes. They don't wear like armor around their bodies. Sometimes they can wear a mail shirt, and just a normal shirt that we use today. And that includes that Vikings are like a bit good about their religious Islams. They don't, and let's see the ships part. This is the last part. So they built the ships as they are very long, and they conclude as a normal number of oars, 40 to 50 oars. And there might be an average about 70 to 80 centimeters long. But the longest Viking ship ever pictured is about 119 centimeters long and carries about 72 oars. That is a lot for people. The first part that they used to navigate the clouds and the sun, they also navigated the water. As when the water is blue, dark blue, they know that they're not near land. But if the water is light blue, they know that they're near land. They also have like a rock there to point them the direction as when the sun is shining. When the sun is not shining, it not have to be thrown out. It's super important. And there's also a lookout for lookouting rocks and other things. He will tell the captain, and then the captain will slow down. And as that happens, Vikings are just a normal way of just building up from there. Then there are no toilets and bathrooms on the Viking ships, so they have to go on the side. Sometimes they row the oars from the right side because it's easier for hand-sided Vikings. But the left-sided Vikings can only only few of them are left-handed, and a lot of them are right-handed. So they rowed, and when they discovered a new place, They all called it the myths of it. So, but then it faded slowly. The Vikings started to give up on their old gods. Sometimes people in Italy and southern Europe believe more in Christianity. And as America grew and grew, and as Europe grew and grew too, more people started to believe in Christianity. They bought Christianity, and soon as that more Vikings started to believe in Christianity, they have to give up on their old gods and say goodbye to them. And as their myths practice, they started to fade away, as the Viking population could not stand or hold the religious symbol anymore, and they fade away, and that's why Vikings don't exist today. Today, there are a lot of festivals and a lot of people in London that line up streets of the UK, Ireland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark will all celebrate the festival of the Vikings. They dress up and eat like Vikings, and all of them are just the Viking matter of Christianity. As this myth slowly just spread out into the world, many people started to believe Vikings as the true history of America. And all over the world from Europe, such a history for all time. So this is the end. Goodbye everybody, and thank you for listening.